Today, our workshop is all about professional development and developing your professional self and taking charge of your professional development. It's something that we feel is so important because you've all chosen to join us and you've done it yourselves. And so we thought we would focus this workshop on owning your professional development. So today we are going to look at independent learning. A lot of professional development takes part in school, but also you are choosing to take ownership of your professional development. So what does independent learning look like? The importance of professional development, any areas of challenge that you are thinking about, and the final one is outlining ways to continue your professional development. So those are our areas, and I'm going to mix it up with how I'm going to begin. I'm actually going to start today with looking at why it's so important to consider continuing your professional development. So let's have a think about why we do it. You're all here because you want to learn something new for your classroom, and we call that teacher professional development, which is often known as TPD. So why is it useful and what can it allow you to do? Well, it expands your knowledge. You are probably all experts in your field, but it also brings in new knowledge and really enhances that expertise. So it develops your skills. It keeps you up to date with teaching ideas and current pedagogy. I know that I've been in the classroom for 15 years and actually I can become a bit rusty and I need to make sure that I have new ideas to put into my classroom. It can boost your confidence as well. Perhaps you're teaching a new subject, you're not entirely sure how to approach that. So it boosts your confidence and your credibility. It can advance your career. You can put it onto your CV if you keep a record of it, or your resume, whatever you keep a record of your career in your past. And it can help you to progress. It can help you in interviews as well. It connects you with other ideas, so you can share ideas. That's why so many of you are here today, I'm sure, is that you actually want to be connected. I mean, we've got people here from Nigeria, Zambia, Angola, India. So we're all connecting this huge community as well. And it ensures that you keep learning, which is really important because that's what we want to achieve and we want our learners to achieve. Now, professional development can often occur from school, and it can be leadership or head teachers saying to us, look, you need to do this course. But sometimes actually we can take ownership of our professional development and we can do this independently. A lot of you today have chosen to come to this workshop because you believe in your own professional development. And so what does that mean? Well, this is a form of independent learning. This is you taking charge of your learning. One broad definition of independent learning or autonomy in learning is the ability to take charge of one's learning. That's what you're doing today. So being able to make informed choices and take responsibility for your own learning are two facets of independent learning. Two other elements that are vital are motivation and confidence. Well, today you've all been motivated to come, and hopefully you feel confident, and some of you are really feeling confident to put into the chat different comments. Please feel free to comment at any point about what you're feeling about anything. There doesn't have to be a question on the board. You can just type in. That's absolutely fine. So this is what independent learning is. It takes the onus of learning. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Narula. So have a quick think for me. When was the last time you took charge of your own learning? What qualities do you need to learn and this new skill? And who did you ask for help if you asked anybody at all? It can be within the classroom, it can be something to do with teaching, or it can be to do with something completely outside of teaching. When was the last time that you decided to take charge and to learn something new? And what did you do? Festus, independent learning is learning what you want to learn, when you want to learn, and how you want to learn. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And like we said, you've all turned up today and decided that this is the moment you want to learn something new. Anybody else? Any other comments? Thank you, Festus. Anybody else? Well, when was the last time? What skills did you require when you looked at that new thing? Could you just do it by yourself? Did you have to look at other things, other ideas? Self-paced in a self-motivated learning. Exactly. Thank you so much. That's really lovely. It's taking your time with something. So you're doing it at your own pace. You might end up revisiting something. You might end up doing it a bit wrong and trying to do it again. Absolutely. Anything else? You're owning your learning. Thank you very much. Perfect. Absolutely. So how can we professionally develop independently? How can you do that? What does that mean to you to take charge of your own professional development? Does that mean anything to you? I'll leave it a minute or two just to see what people type. Okay. Well, to me, independent learning for me, follow your own inquiries. That's a really good, what do you mean by that, Mercedes? Can you expand on that a little bit? Follow your own inquiries. Is that if you're thinking of something new, sharing our learning with each other and extending our professional learning network? Good, absolutely. You might have a skill. I know I do this all the time with my colleagues and I say, listen, I'm not quite sure how to do this. Have you got any ideas how to do this? Follow what you are really interested in and not what others decide. That's really nice. Sometimes we are told what we have to learn and that's something that we have to do, but quite often, yeah, absolutely. When it's your own time, you can make a decision. It means identifying the gap and building them. Thank you. Really good ideas. Thank you so much. So how do we become independent learners? It's really hard to just suddenly decide to learn something unless you've got an approach and a way forward with thinking about how to actually achieve that skill of learning something new. Knowing that you don't know something and desiring to learn is the first step. It truly is. But where do you go from there? You've got this desire. What do you do with it? So here are a few ideas as to how to push forward with learning, filling that gap, as somebody mentioned. So one idea, you can ask questions. Like I mentioned, I always ask questions to my colleagues. What do you mean by this? What do you want me to do here? How do I do that? Independent learning, yes, you are learning something new by yourself, but it doesn't mean you can't ask for help. And that does not show signs of weakness either. Absolutely. Use the resources around you to support your learning. While you are all using the resource of workshop, you might have books in front of you as well. It might be the internet, the search engine that you want to use in order to find whatever answers. We've got the Teach2030 courses, we've got the social media. You are going to get access to a free course, completely free course. So you can use those resources to help you. Collaborate. Well, there's some lovely collaboration going on right now in the chat. And I don't know about you, but it makes me feel motivated and positive to know that other people are here to learn the same thing as me. Again, just because you've chosen to learn something independently doesn't mean you have to be completely alone. You can collaborate with people to do that. It might just be that you have to find the same sorts of people that want to learn the same sorts of things as you, which is where our lovely Teach2030 community comes in. Make connections to previous learning and persevere, as it might be confusing. When you start learning something new, sometimes I get a little bit confused and I don't quite know how to approach something, and I sometimes have to go backwards to come forwards again. That's part of the learning process, and it doesn't mean I'm failing and it doesn't mean that I'm weak. What it means is that I'm persevering and I know I'm going to try to continue until I can achieve that skill. And that often sometimes takes creativity. I've just started a new project, which I won't tell you all about, but I'm finding it hard, really hard. And I've just had to undo all the work that I did last night with it. And it's a bit of sewing. And I've had to unpick everything and start again because it's not quite right, because actually I've not laid it out right. The design's not right. I'm learning because I've never done this before, but I'm going to carry on and I'm not going to give up because I want to achieve that new skill. But that's me doing it by myself. Okay, so how can it help us? Again, it's this pulling it back to why is independent learning important and how can it help our skills to develop? So let's have a quick look at the chat and see what people are saying. Dr. Narula is saying, be a learner forever. Yes, research is great. Don't just regurgitate it into the classroom, but develop thinking classrooms. That's a really nice comment. Often we can read something online and it's really great and it connects to previous learning that, or it pushes us to be something new. But that's not us being creative, and our learners might not understand that, and we might have to be creative with our lesson plans. That's a really nice point, and thank you, Festa, for supporting that as well. Any other comments that we're looking at? Research, more like teaching ideas. This has helped me for the past 6 years. Thank you very much. We need to contextualize what we learn. Absolutely right. Think about who's in your classroom and how you can apply that to your classroom. Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much. So let's have a think together now. What areas in your classroom can you develop? Do you have any ideas? What would you like to really think about? Now, this is not a sign of weakness at all, and it's really important to identify that. If you are trying to learn something new and professionally develop, that means you're pushing yourself to be a learner, and that's something we want to encourage in our classroom. It's not a sign of weakness. Are there any areas that you've got that you would like to currently professionally develop? Is there anything at all? And what areas could you think about developing? Any areas at all? Independent learning helps you see ideas at a different place. Good. What areas would you, it might be assessment, it might be whatever it might be. Is there anything that you would like to think about? Just give it a second, because I can see a few people typing on the screen. I can see on your cameras. Okay, so let's have a think then. Developing an interest in learning and exploration. Good. I'd like to improve classroom management. Thank you very much. Lovely. What other areas could you think about? Bringing learners in at all times. Good. Super. So one area you might want to develop is your language and how you connect and progress the learning in your classroom. That might be something. It might be your lesson plans. To what extent do you plan your lessons effectively for all learners? So it might be something to do with planning and connecting learning with real life and close the vocabulary gap in language. Thank you. It might be something to do with creativity. When was the last time you reflected upon your presence, your attitude in your classroom? So it might be something to do with that. It might be something to do with your activities. To what extent do you use active learning strategies that encourage your students to think for themselves? If you're thinking about how you can independently learn today, it might be something to do with how you get them to think for themselves and independent thinking. Anything else? Redesign the learning, collaboration. Thank you very much. Perfect. Discussion about students' experience, their action in real life. Lovely. Okay. So how can you continue developing with Teach 2030? Now, if you're choosing to do a Teach 2030 course, you might have been directed by somebody in leadership, but you might have chosen to do this by yourself. And just to reiterate how you can do this, well, with the Teach 2030 courses, you can learn completely at your own speed. You can pause all the courses. Lots of people were just talking about contextualizing materials, and the Teach 2030 materials are personalized content and contextualized content for your classroom. There are loads of free downloadable materials for your classroom that are really useful visual tools, and you can choose the course that suits you. By moving forward with Teach 2030, you're joining a worldwide community of learners. They're low cost, and actually you can get a course completely for free at the moment. Take the part 1, which is completely free. Part 2, if you just use the code Teach2030, you will be able to get a completely free part 2. So these are just some of the benefits to completing online teacher professional development. Now, one of our lovely members of our community has sent us this video, and so we'll just have a quick look at what she says.
All right. So like the Teach 2030 courses were like our backbone. When we failed, we had to get back on them. That made us to move forward, to like put away COVID-19 and just know that there's something that we need to do. So that pushed us, that made us to be in our lane as teachers.
Okay, and lots of you have really contacted me with your own stories about how Teach 2030 courses have really helped you and have given you different scenarios as to how they've truly helped you. Now, when we were looking at those 4 areas, we do have 4 courses that can help you. So if you're looking at language, if you know you're looking at taking a completely free course with Teach 2030. So if you are thinking that you want to improve your language, you might want to take the growth mindset course. Okay, so that's the one to start. Part 1 is free. Part 2 with the code Teach 2030 is completely free. There is absolutely no catch. If you're thinking about lesson plans, the area that you want to improve is lesson plans, then have a think about planning lessons to reach all learners, okay? If you're thinking about your creativity, and when the last time, what you're like in the classroom, your presence, your stance, your attitude, then you might want to think about fresh thinking. And if you're for your activities and thinking about engaging learners, getting them to think for themselves, being active, then you might want to think about practical active learning. Again, these courses are completely free. There is no catch, okay? Now, I've just got a little video just to finish off, just to remind people how to sign in, okay? I'll just play the video and then it's very short, and then we'll nearly be at the end.
It is very simple to create your Teach 2030 account and choose the course that is right for you. You open up teach2030.com and visit the website. You click on the menu bar at the top and choose Teachers to explore the courses that we have. When you decide which course you would like to do, you have a look and I think, okay, I'd like to start planning lessons to reach all learners. I click Learn Today. This will take me to more information about this course. Is it right for me? Read the course objectives, have a little look at the course content, and then I think, yes, this is what I'd like to do. Part 1 of all our courses is free, so I click Take this course. You will then be asked to create your account. You can see planning lessons to reach all learners.
Oh, sorry.
Is in the basket. If you have a discount code, you would apply it here, but you do not need one for part 1 of any course, and then proceed to checkout. Here you enter your name. Make sure it is something that you will remember, so don't use a nickname that you might forget. Then here you enter your address. And then your email. Here you then enter your username. So again, make sure that you use a name that you are going to remember. And then you will be asked to create your own password. Make sure again it's something that you can remember, although it is possible to reset your account at any time. You then click Place Order. And your account will be created. You've now logged in. It says your name here, the courses that you can access. If you click on the course, you can get started straight away learning with Teach 2030.
Okay, so those are our courses that we're offering at the minute. We've also got a digital learner course. Now, for those people who are thinking they want to learn how to use their smartphone more effectively, which might help you to become a stronger independent learner, especially if you're thinking about using Google to try and find some content maybe for a subject that you've not taught before. If you're thinking about that, that's completely free anyway, completely free. Again, there is no catch. I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell something, but actually they're free, and you've got a free course as well this time. So yes, please have a look at the digital learner course if you're thinking you're not very confident with how to use your smartphone to independently learn. Okay, so let's have a think about what we've learned today, and then that's it. I'm not taking any more of your time. Independent learning is choosing to develop an area or skill. It can be an area of professional development. It is a positive thing, and it takes both motivation and confidence. None of us are perfect teachers, and there is always room to grow. Learning something new or refreshing our knowledge shows strength, not weakness. It means that we are modeling the behavior that we expect in our classroom learners. So please don't be scared of learning something new. Don't be scared of reaching out. We are on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, just at Teach2030. If you have a question, please ask it. There is no shame in asking a question, and we will do our best to answer it. Okay. Use the code Teach2030 for the part B. Just to mention that we are doing another workshop this time next week. I will not be doing a presentation. You have the chance to ask us anything. I will be turning up with no preparation. It is simply you asking whatever professional development questions that you want on any topic. Again, it's completely free. We are doing it on Facebook Live, so it is just a case of signing into Facebook. We thought we'd do that rather than a Zoom link up. But please join us, reach out, ask any question you want to, and I will do my best to answer it. I'm going to be joined by a lady called Rebecca, who is part of Kenya Connect. So they're based in Kenya. So the two of us will answer any of your questions at all. So please come along and join us. It's specifically next week aimed at anybody for secondary and above. So if you teach teenagers or older, please come and attend, even if it's for primary students. Again, it's completely free, but come and join us. But it's specifically going to be tailored at the secondary students. So any questions, any comments? Anybody got any comments? And please, we'll end the meeting in just a few minutes. I'd like to thank you for attending. I hope you learned something new and that something was useful in there. And I just want to say thank you for joining us, and thank you for choosing to continue your professional development. And well done for taking that time to professionally develop independently. Thank you so much. I will leave the chat open for any further questions for just a minute or two, but please feel free to leave the meeting whenever you want to, and thank you for attending. We really appreciate you coming. Thank you, Mercedes, for saying it's inspiring. Thank you, Dr. Narula. Any final comments, and then I'll close the meeting. We'll see you next week though at the Q&A. I'm really excited to see you there and hopefully continue our professional development then.